Alrighty, everybody, what's going on, everyone? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get everything all set up here. But what's up, everybody? Hope everyone is doing fantastic here. We're gonna go ahead and get on into another update for everybody regarding this other system that we've been kind of looking out there for. Let's see here. We're gonna go ahead and get this up. But anyways, guys, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another live stream here. Let me go ahead and finish getting everything all set. Go ahead and put that there. Alrighty, what's up, guys? Welcome back here to another live stream. So we're going to be going over the latest information with this storm here, with this other system that we are watching. We're going to definitely be monitoring this other guy here for the next several days. Like I mentioned, we do have ourselves another shot for yet again another another storm here. What's up, Lady B? Hope you're doing good. It says, my anxiety cannot handle these storms. I hear you, my friend. I hear you. I wish there was a way that I could, get rid of these guys, but unfortunately, like I mentioned, it's kind of out of my control, sadly. But we gotta give you guys information here. We gotta keep y'all updated with everything. So, what's up, Tabletop? Saying, I've seen and read something about heavy wind shear far, right inland where it could push this system across Florida. It does seem possible. Like we mentioned, this is the latest GFS having that storm up there, kind of near the Panhandle. There very well could be some strong winds that could, knock it to the eastern side of the Gulf. It seems like that is a possibility. So we will be absolutely watching this. It seems like the GFS, though, has kind of backed off regarding, how strong the system could be, and ultimately where it goes. As you can kind of see there, it just, it tracks its way throughout the, the Western Caribbean here, kind of the Southern Caribbean here for October 1st, going into the 2nd, then, approaching the, the little inlet like we were talking about here for right around the 3rd. Not as strong as it previously did like last night. And then, of course, going into the Eastern Gulf here overall. So, the good news is that the model did drop off a little bit here. But remember, this is just one model. Take that with a grain of salt. There is another little area of low. Maybe you guys can probably tell out here in the Western Gulf. That could be another little system to look out there for. But the main one is going to be that guy on the eastern side here overall. Latest CMC, we have the 12 Zulu rolling through here. Latest CMC has a really weird approach. Having that storm, kind of get together, once it works its way in the Gulf, maybe picking up a little bit of strength here, kind of sitting there in the Gulf. But, it seems like the model has been a little bit different. So you can obviously tell just between those two, that model's just a little bit different. Icon, as you can see, has that storm kind of rolling its way in there, kind of towards like the Western Gulf, and then just kind of sitting there, and then kind of pushing to the south, which is really interesting. But you can tell that the models, they're still in very heavy disagreement here. So it still is a little early to tell where the thing's gonna go, how strong it's gonna be, stuff like that. We're just gonna need to look out for over the next couple of days. Let's see here. Lady says, I appreciate the info. You're very welcome. What's up, Ponderosa? Hope you're doing good. What's up, SPC? What's up, Garrett? Saying unreal. I know, man. It's wild. Nature is definitely a little on the mad side right now, per se. Let's see here. So we're gonna hop over here to the Zero Zulu EPS. So this is some ensemble members. You can actually see, a group of those. You can actually see a group of the ensembles, those members kind of piling up here in the Gulf. And then if you look, they actually start to shift their way here to the east, getting kind of pulled over Florida potentially. And the reason is like I was mentioning, we're going to have another little frontal system here rolling through. And that's going to kind of act, like I said, as a battering ram, kind of pushing that storm eastward, which, could be a possibility. And like I said, that could in theory steer that storm maybe towards Florida or towards the Eastern Gulf. Once again, it's still not final. There is still a lot of disagreement here. But like I mentioned, it's something that we're just going to need to monitor. What's up, Crystal? Let's see. Why does Earth hate Florida? Thoughts and prayers from Greece. Yeah, no, Florida's been getting hit pretty good. But what's up, my friend? Hope you're doing good. Hello from the States. What's up, Ohio? Hope you're doing good, man. Still no power in Savannah. Oh yeah, there's still a lot of power outages out there. Here, let's pull up the map here. Go ahead and bring up our power outage map. Yeah, it's certainly a bit still. There certainly is a lot of people still without that power here. There you go. So here's the power outage map. I mean, you can see that there's still a really big fallout of cities and counties without power. I mean, that shoots all the way from Florida through Georgia, through the Carolinas, Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia. So there certainly is a lot of people without power. Now here's the thing, y'all. They updated the probability. We have ourselves a 50% chance of overall formation here for development here. So throughout the next 2 days, the next 48 hours, we're not expecting the storm to develop in the next 2 days. Which is good, so we're not expecting that thing to really kick off. And the models kind of hint the possibility here of, let's see here, the possibility here of, the system kind of kicking off here. So right around the 1st to the 3rd is kind of what the models are suggesting, is whenever the storm goes into the Western Caribbean here, then tracks its way into the Gulf here right around the 4th, 5th, and 6th. Whenever it comes to it, like I mentioned, we have ourselves an overall 0% chance probability in the next the next 2 days, 48 hours. So once again, we're not expecting the storm to develop in the next 2 days. However, they did up the probability, and they've been continuously upgrading the probability now to a 50% chance throughout the next 7 days. So that probability is increasing. Now, speaking of, we got ourselves another system, actually another 2 potential storms, rolling off of Africa. Well, the first one's already out there just west of the Cabo Verde, which is this guy, having an overall 80% chance of development. And we could have a named storm here probably within the next 2 days or so. That's a possibility. So we'll keep an eye out there for that guy. And of course, we got this other little area, pretty low chance of development as of now, but it's another area that we should monitor. Now we still got ourselves Isaac. Isaac is still a Cat 1, getting ready to be downgraded into tropical storm status. The storm's just going to kind of shoot its way up into the Arctic Circle. This storm's not going to be any problem for anybody. We have Joyce. Joyce is a tropical storm, kind of a mid, low-end tropical storm here. Which this one's going to be kind of a fish storm, remaining out to sea. So Joyce is not going to be an issue. So really the only problem, the immediate problem is this guy here. Like I said, this one's going to kick off out there towards northern South America. It's going to start right around the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd throughout the Caribbean. The timing, that is when the storm's going to be in these waters. So throughout the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and then of course as we roll our way into the Gulf, that's when we're going to have the dates be more like the 4th, 5th, and 6th. Potentially with that system. And the way it's going and the way that it looks, the models are suggesting, unfortunately, that storm might remain on the eastern side of the Gulf. Now, that could impact Florida. It could. It is a possibility. However, like I said, nothing's quite final yet, but it does seem like the models are really grasping on the storm, kind of remaining on the central and eastern side of the Gulf of Mexico. There's really not a lot of support that has it out here. At this point in time, I'm not concerned for really Texas coast as of right now. I'm not as concerned for you guys as I kind of am for maybe some more of these coastal areas, from Louisiana throughout the coastal Mississippi, Alabama, line here, and of course, Florida's coast. Also should really watch this over the next couple of days. Once again, this is another system, and like I said, it's the last thing that we need, is another storm rolling out here. Let's see, is another storm going to hit Atlanta? That is very much unknown right now, my friend. There is a chance that it, just couldn't impact Atlanta at all. That is also a possibility. It's just simply a little early to tell exactly, how strong the storm's going to be, where it's going to make, impacts exactly. That is still unknown, but, the way that the models have been suggesting, all that members, you can see all those little members here. they kind of accumulate in the Gulf, and if you look, they start to move their way to the east, kind of over Florida. Some of those kind of go out that way. You notice another really big blob over here. This is that other system that we were watching for potential development here. So we'll, keep an eye out there for that. But anyways, so yeah, that's what the EPS, the GEFS here. This is the 12 Zulu. You can see the GEFS here has, it's not really finished rendering, but you can see that, we start to have a bit of grouping here right around October 1st, going through the 2nd, out throughout like the Western Caribbean here. And then for the 3rd, we kind of approach, the eastern side of the Yucatan Peninsula into Western Cuba. And then, of course, that goes into the Gulf. You can kind of see the last few frames, it does a little bit of a northeasterly movement there. That's because we're having a frontal system come through and kind of pushing, potentially could, push that storm to the east. So initially, the storm has a possibility of going to the northwest and then being pushed by a frontal system, which might allow it to steer more to the northeast. That kind of seems like, the good understanding with the models as of right now. Yeah, you can really see those latest scans coming through here, those latest model frames here, and you can actually see that it's that sudden change in track will be associated with that cold front that we're going to be seeing here. Here's GEPS. As you can tell, a lot of the ensembles, a lot of the members kind of start to pile up here between the 1st and the 2nd, approaching the 3rd out there towards like Western Cuba, the Eastern Yucatan Peninsula. You can see kind of it's a bit orange and yellow there, representing, some of the members being, a decent system, nothing super crazy though. And then of course, as we approach our way down in time, you notice how it starts to get more, darker shades. That means that the ensembles are picking up maybe in some stronger activity, as the storm kind of pulls its way up here to the northeast, because of that cold front we were talking about overall. Let's see. Round 2 and people are still without power. Yeah, like I said, hopefully this, won't impact Florida. It certainly is a possibility. I hate to say it. It is a possible outcome, is impacting Florida. We don't know exactly how strong the storm is going to be, yet alone, like I said, exactly where it's going to make landfall. That is still pretty much unknown at this point, but models, once again, have been consistent for the last several days in terms of showing a system developing down here kind of in the Southern Caribbean around the 1st, tracking to the Western Caribbean around the 2nd, moving to the Northwestern Caribbean near the 3rd, out there towards the Yucatan and Cuba, moving into the Gulf around the 4th, going through the Central Gulf around the 5th, and then starting to turn because of that, that cold front there, that big dome of high pressure building in from the backside will be kind of acting like a, shield per se. That could be good news, for like coastal Texas. That could be some good news, maybe potentially keeping that storm away from you guys. But, nothing's final. Nothing is final yet. But that is, a potential outcome here. What's up, Mighty? Hope you're doing good, my friend. I heard some other people saying there's going to be another storm forming behind that right in the same area. Is that true or what? What, after this storm? After this next one? That's a little far-fetched. That's definitely a little far-fetched. I mean, with this storm here, this is just the one we need to be, watching right now, overall. Let's see here. Heath says, thanks for the update. You help keep us safe. You're very welcome, my friend. You're very welcome. What's the name of the storm? This one could be named Leslie. There's actually another storm that we're watching that's going to take the next name. This guy over here. Oh, whoa, that was something interesting. Here we go. So we actually have a high chance of development on another system that, it's just west of the Cabo Verde. It's another storm that, could kick up with time. Here, let's actually pull up to the models. We're going to hop to the North Atlantic view here. So you can actually see, as we work our way down in time, there's that other system. Here, we're going to zoom in a little bit for you guys to see. So there's that other system that has a high chance of development, but there's also another storm potentially behind it too, in which if we look at the map here, you can actually see that second area that's highlighted here. As of now, a low chance, but the one ahead of it has the greatest probability as of right now. So, but anyways, so you have those two storms, and as we work our way down in time, some of the ensembles have, or most of them have that first storm going kind of up to the north here, kind of getting sucked into the central Atlantic, which really wouldn't be that much of an issue, thankfully. However, that second storm, there's a few members that kind of has it continually going west. That could be another storm to watch out for. That could be another system. But, once again, we'll just have to continue to monitor that. Let's see here. Dry air in the Gulf. I was looking at that earlier today, actually. It's definitely not as saturated as it was for Helene, which is good news. There's less moisture available, but you can see that there is certainly still some abundance of moisture available. But yeah, there certainly could be the possibility of maybe a little bit of dry air spilling into the storm there. So that could be a good thing. We're just going to have to continue monitoring that and see how that plays out. But there's also going to be a good little pool of moisture, humid air throughout the atmosphere, which could aid in development with that storm. So that is that. Let's see. Lily says, "Oh my gosh, I remember you." I remember you too, Lily. Let's see. October was busy, but November may be maybe less busy. Yeah, we'll see. Usually by November things do start to calm down. We're still in hurricane season in November, so there certainly is still potential for storms, but usually September is pretty much the most active month. Now October can actually be fairly active as well, so keep that in mind. October could be a fairly active season. The way that the models, active month, the way that the models are presenting this is that there's going to be quite a bit of tropical activity here over the next little bit. So there's a couple systems that we're going to need to watch. Obviously we can't go too far down in time, because the more further you go out, the more in la la land you get. But as of now, that's kind of what we're seeing. So we really just need to kind of focus on this little guy here, as well as maybe that other storm out there in the Atlantic, which has a chance of just kind of going out to sea. So that could be some good news. Is Jamaica okay? So yeah, Jamaica should be fine. There really shouldn't be much issues for Jamaica. With this upcoming storm here, the storm could start to kick off to your west, possibly as a depression. We'll have to see how that plays out, of course, but yeah, no, this storm would leave you fairly unscathed. You probably wouldn't feel too much impacts with that storm overall. So yeah, Jamaica should be good. Let's see. A lot of people in Houston are still affected by Hurricane Beryl. Yeah, I could imagine. Beryl was thankfully not a super strong storm, like Helene was. Beryl was a Cat 1 at landfall for Texas, which is much better than that. But yeah, I could absolutely imagine. It takes a while to recover from storms. People are going to be recovering from Helene for several months, if not years. It takes a very long time to rebuild, to clean up, and stuff like that. So that's that. Let's see here. Thank God. Yeah, no, Jamaica seems good, my friend. We don't really see much of any concerns out there in Jamaica anytime soon. How am I doing? I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Hope you're doing good yourself. Is Florida going to be affected? Potentially. Potentially. It's still not final, but there is definitely some support with the possibility of Florida being affected. Like I said, the GFS model in the last few runs have been kind of all over the place here. They've kind of been all over the place, but the way it goes is that, yeah, Florida could be potentially impacted. The storm will initially roll its way to the northwest, kind of towards the east central Gulf, before a cold front will kind of come and steer it more to the east there. That's why you kind of see the course change there. So yeah, that's how that's going overall. So it certainly is possible that Florida could be impacted. It's still not fully known quite yet. There still is a bit of uncertainty and stuff like that. The models are going to take a little bit to kind of come to an agreement here with the strength, the track and the size of the storm. It's just there's a lot of things we need to learn here. What about Georgia? So yeah, same thing applies to Georgia. Just monitor the storm. There's no reason for all-out preparations right now, because there's just still so much uncertainty in the track and the strength and stuff like that. So there is currently no no reason to fully, prepare for the storm. All we need to do right now is just, continue to monitor that system, because, it's going to need to be watched over the next little bit. Hurricane Center continues to increase probability of overall tropical development. We've been, kind of going up daily here in the probability, and I do expect it to continue to raise in overall formation probability. The good news is that throughout the next 2 days, the next 48 hours, we are not expecting the storm to develop. However, over the next 7 days, as of now, it's a likelihood that it could develop here at a 50% chance as of now. So, and I do expect that probability to increase as we continue to go through, because the models are continually supporting this system, and they have been for several days at this point. So yeah, that is a possibility. Is there a chance the storm will hit Texas? Honestly, I wouldn't, like I said, I would keep an eye on it if you live in Texas still, but I feel like, the latest trend is that storm might just hold on to the eastern Gulf because of that cold front kind of protecting, Texas. So once again, nothing's final, but the way that the models are looking now, it seems like Texas will be fine. So we'll keep an eye out there for that. What's up, Maven? Hope you're doing good. George says, is this another storm? Yes, this is another storm, unfortunately. So, but previously we had Helene just roll through, the Big Bend of Florida, kind of do some interesting and stuff. Caused a lot of damage, unfortunately. And then, of course, yeah, we have another system that we're monitoring here, too. There still is a bit of unknowns with it at the moment, but, the models have been continuously talking about this for the last several days. I mean, this is not new development. This is, kind of been in the models in the works for a couple days now. So, and it's still continually popping up here amongst the models. There's a lot of models that support this, but they're just kind of all over the place right now. That's the thing. Let's see here. I'm going to Las Vegas in November, but I'm not sure how cold it will be in November in Vegas. Gotcha. Let's see here. What's up, Maven? Hope you're doing good. What's up? Let's see. What's up, Adam? Is there a chance it'll hit Tampa? So, like I said, there's no way of being sure, like, if it will, directly hit Tampa. But if you do live in Tampa, it wouldn't hurt to monitor the storm. Once again, there's no need for full-on preparations yet with the storm, just due to the fact that there's so much uncertainty still. There's a lot of things that we, like I said, there's just a lot of things that we don't know about the storm here. But yeah. Tons of damage in Savannah. Yeah, Savannah did get hit pretty hard. Like I said, hopefully you guys recover good out there. We'll see what's up, Twisted. Hope you're doing good. Looks like a Florida storm potentially. Like I said, it's a possibility that it could go towards Florida. But remember, that's not final yet. The track of the storm is probably going to go to the northwest and then probably start to turn. Once we get that cold front here that starts kind of pushing its way to the east-southeast, which will kind of help steer that storm away from areas like Texas, potentially like Louisiana. Once again, still not for sure, but that could be good for my folks along the western Gulf. Is that cold front coming to aid, but unfortunately that could mean some problems for the eastern Gulf yet again, which is unfortunate. Let's see. My brother's in Ocala. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, we'll keep an eye out there for it in Florida, just keep an eye on it, but, try not to worry about it. Try not to, to panic or, worry about this. Once again, there's still just a lot we need to learn about the storm, and, it's been like that for a couple of days, and it just, the models are still all over the place. So there's just a lot that we don't understand with it right now. Let's see here. Can I deliver a load of bricks in Georgia? Yeah, no, you should be good here. You should be good. Let's see. I live in South Carolina. Is the storm going to hit South Carolina? That's not really known at this point. Overall, it's not really known what the impacts are going to be out there. So as of now, there's no reason for alarm out there in South Carolina. So you should be good for now. But just keep an eye on the the forecast track and stuff like that. Is Florida safe right now? Yeah, Florida's good right now. Like I mentioned, Florida, should monitor the storm. Once again, there's no reason for full-on preparations, because there's still a lot of things we don't understand about the storm. The models are very much in disagreement mode still, especially that last run that just came through. They're all over the place. There is a lot of disagreement here. But the general idea is that, the storm could work its way in the Caribbean between the 1st and the 3rd, moving its way into the Gulf here, right around the 4th, throughout the 5th, and then the 6th, and then maybe start to turn, there towards the northeast, like I mentioned, because of a cold front that could be, swinging its way down here, pushing its way here to the east overall, which, could ultimately allow the storm to steer, which that could, keep the Western Gulf relatively safe. It's a possibility. It's a potential outcome. But that could also, put areas along like, the Eastern Gulf in potential concern yet again. So that's kind of what we need to look out for. Let's see here. Will there be more flooding from the storm? These storms typically can cause flooding. We're not sure fully on the impacts as of now, so, just keep an eye on it. We just got destroyed by the storm surge from Helene. I really hope it doesn't hit Florida. Yeah, you and me both, man. You and me both. Let's see. Could it be a Category 1? That's kind of unknown, but there is some models that suggest the thing may be becoming a tropical storm or maybe a low-end hurricane. It's possible. I used to live in Florida. I'm glad I don't know. Yeah, I hear you. We're supposed to leave from Tampa on a cruise to Cozumel on Friday. Being Cozumel on Sunday. Should we cancel? Let's see here. So you're going to Cozumel, Mexico. So, okay, so you're going down here. So you're going from Tampa. You said on Sunday, which that is that in what, next Sunday? What? Hold on. Yeah, so today's Sunday. Are you talking like next Sunday? Yeah, at that point, what day is that? I believe that is the 6th. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of rough timing. Because as we approach the 6th, the storm potentially could be out here towards, the Gulf here. So that is what we're looking out there for. Let's see. Why y'all asking what the strength of the storm is? He ain't the NHC. Well, we don't really understand, how strong it's going to be. Even the NHC doesn't understand, how strong it's going to be. We use the same outputs, the models and stuff like that. We use the same forecast. We go off of the NHC here too. Nobody knows how strong it's going to be right now. Nobody knows that. It's still a little early. See here, thank you. You're very welcome. Yeah, just keep an eye on it, and obviously, whatever cruise line you're going on, they understand the impacts of tropical systems, and if it's a danger to their fleet or a danger, they won't go out. They would cancel it. So, let's see. Is Loganville okay from the storm? I don't know where that's at, my friend. What state are you in? There's probably a lot of Loganvilles out there. Is it going to target Florida? That's not fully known, but, like I mentioned, there is a handful of models suggesting that the storm potentially could come near Florida. Yes, that's a possibility. The majority of members and, ensembles and stuff like that do ultimately have the storm tracking northwest, then potentially turning in the direction of Florida. Yes, that does seem very possible. Let's see. Jared says, thank you for everything you do and all the time you put in put into keeping people informed. You're very welcome, my friend. I'm glad to be here. What model do I use? I use all the main ones. You can't just use one model. You can't be biased to a model. You got to treat them all equally. So we use all the main ones like ECMWF, ICON, GEFS, CMC, GDPS, GEFS, all the main models we really have to use. We got to really use them all. Is this coming to Corpus Christi? So I don't think so. I think the storm will remain mostly, from what we're seeing now, I think that we're mostly going to stay maybe on the central and eastern Gulf with the storm here. What about Louisiana? So Louisiana is also an area that we should monitor, because who knows fully the impacts as of right now. It's still a little bit unknown overall. If you live in Louisiana, yeah, if you live along the coast, I would certainly monitor this as well. Like we mentioned, the storm will be, kind of coming up here and potentially turning because of a cold front, that's going to be rolling through with building high pressure from behind. That will help, kind of steer the storm maybe to the northeast, which, could impact Florida, unfortunately. But, that's still not 100% set in stone right now. But I would watch if you're in Louisiana too, because if that cold front is delayed, say the cold front's actually further back here, there's a theoretical possibility that the storm could just continue moving northwest. So yeah, I mean, there is a lot of hypothetical scenarios in this case right now. So, if you live along those regions, I would, certainly consider watching this. But there's no reason for full-on preparation, like I mentioned. It's still a little early with that there overall. Houston, along the Gulf Coast, it wouldn't hurt to watch it, but the way that models are talking, it seems like the storm might kind of keep away from Texas as of now. It's too early to tell tabletop for North Carolina. Thank you so much for the information. It's very helpful. You're very welcome. Let's see here. Yeah, Georgia's a little unknown as well, regarding the potential impacts and stuff like that. What's up, Cameron? Hope you're doing good, my friend. Brody says thanks for everything you do. You're very welcome. No problem. This is not really going to cause an issue for Illinois, more than likely. So you'll be good. Will it hit Tampa Bay or Tallahassee? Tampa Bay, Tallahassee areas should monitor the system here throughout the next, several days. There's no being for sure that it will impact these areas directly, but, those areas should absolutely monitor the conditions, because some of the models and stuff like that do show the possibility of that system heading in the general direction of some of those regions there. So it's possible, but nothing is final yet. So how about Georgia? So yeah, it's a little early to tell for Georgia, but if you live out in Georgia, it would not hurt to monitor this. As it goes for everybody, nobody needs to be preparing for this right now, because there's so much uncertainty in the track and the strength. There's a lot of things we don't know, so there's no need to full on panic and go out and buy everything. No, it's not to that level. Right now we're still several days away. The models are very much in disagreement right now. In which, could it be an impactful storm? Yes, it could. And once we determine on where the storm goes and how strong it could be, if we need to prepare for it, then we'll let you guys know. And, we definitely know several days in advance before these storms kind of roll through. This storm here is still a good ways away out. We are still several days away, in which, there's a lot of things that can change, within the next couple of days. So keep that in mind. Let's see here. Will it hit Mexico? Honestly, so it could hit the Yucatan Peninsula, could cause some impacts for the Yucatan. The models do suggest the storm, kind of going towards, the Yucatan. So yeah, it could impact portions of Mexico, yes. Let's see here. Mississippi Gulf Coast here, watching, waiting and praying mercy against possible storms. Cruising the coast starts Monday, October 6th, with people coming from all over the country. Gotcha. Well, be careful out there. Like I said, Mississippi, you should monitor that out there as well. It would not hurt just to keep an eye out there for the storm, because there still is a lot of uncertainty and stuff like that. So, if you're out there towards Mississippi Gulf Coast, I would monitor this here. Do I think it'll hit Texas? As of now, there's not a lot of support showing it go near Texas. So, we have that cold front that could steer it away from Texas. So I think as of now, Texas seems fine. But remember, nothing's final. There could be some big changes from here until the time being. So, as of now, there's not a whole lot I can tell. But as of now, it seems like, Texas, it'll probably be more east than Texas, to be honest with you. Let's see. Which model do I trust the most? Models have their ups and downs. Sometimes you have models, doing better, performing better than, others. And, they tend to swap. For example, Euro ECMWF has been fairly slow this season here. It's been, kind of fairly, underdoing these storms, including Helene. GFS I feel like it's been doing a lot better this year, but I've seen it opposite too. I've seen Euro do better than GFS. So, you got to treat all the models equally, and you got to kind of group together what they agree on. So what they agree on, you keep, and you implement that in your forecast. Now, what they disagree on, that's what you throw out the window. And the fact that they are still disagreeing on the track and the intensity, the track and the intensity, it's just like, we really don't know quite yet how strong or where it is going to go. So that's what I'm saying. It's still a little early to tell. However, all the models do support the system doing something, and that's why we're talking about it. That's why we're talking about it, because there is a good shot that there could be a tropical system forming here. The models have been talking about it for literal days at this point, continuously popping up in these run after run. So that's possible. Oh, let's see here. Let's see, North Central Florida, says Justin. So if you live in Florida, I would consider watching this. It does seem like the storm, could take an eastern shift. And the reason behind that, like we mentioned here, is because we're going to have a cold front frontal system here, rolling its way here to the east. So high pressure building in from behind could actually help squeeze that storm, more to the east there overall. So that is a possibility. So if you live in Florida, I would keep an eye on it. Could Houston be on the lookout for it? I mean, it wouldn't hurt if you live across, coastal Texas to monitor this, but from what we're looking at as of now, that cold front might actually protect you guys out there towards Texas. The storm, the majority of those members kind of have the storm maybe going up towards the central Gulf and then kind of shifting their way to the east. Because of that cold front that's going to be kind of squeezing down. Now that, like I mentioned, could keep Texas safe. That is certainly a possibility. Ryan says like and sub. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. But if you live in Texas, just keep an eye on it, because that cold front theoretically could be delayed or not as strong as anticipated. So there could certainly, and there will certainly be a lot of changes in the forecast between now and then. Absolutely. Could the depression last for days? It could. The models kind of show that activity starting in the Caribbean between the 1st and the 3rd, throughout the Caribbean, going into the Gulf around the 4th, 5th, and 6th. How about Atlanta, Georgia? So Atlanta, Georgia, as of now, obviously you're far up inland, up there towards Atlanta. As of now, there's no big concerns for Atlanta. So if you're up there in Atlanta, keep an eye on the storm, but you will. Whenever we figure out more information on it, we will let you know. But as of now, there's no big concern for areas out there by like Atlanta. Let's see. You're welcome, Justin. No problem. How long will these potential hurricanes go on? So hurricane season persists up until late November. So we still got a little bit of time. Obviously, we're at the end of September now. We work our way into October. October can still fairly be active in the tropics. So we still got a good 2 months or so of hurricane season left. So, we still got a bit of time here. Still got a bit of time for more systems. Let's see. Will it hit Florida? So it's a possibility. Some of the models do support it. Here, let's hop over to GEPS here. We'll do the ensemble. So you can see that some of the models have it going to the northwest here. And then you notice those red markers, how they kind of scatter going northwest, and then they turn to the northeast. Some of those going over Florida, some going up there potentially towards like Alabama. Once again, it's kind of unknown with the track. The models kind of spread out, or the members kind of spread all out there. But due to that cold front that's going to be pushing through, and that high pressure building in from the backside, that could, like I said, keep the storm away from areas like Texas, which would be pretty good. But anyways, I'm in Southwest Florida. Let's see, I watch here for more info. Thank you. You're very welcome, Jason. You're very welcome. And like I said, we'll keep you updated. We've been covering these storms like crazy this year. I mean, we've done so much with Helene. I mean, we covered Helene whenever it was in the early stages. I mean, we covered it all. So, and we'll do the same. For as long as I go. I mean, as long as I literally can, stream this, I will be here for you guys. This channel is long-term. I'm going to do this for as long as I can. So, we'll keep you updated. And if anything seems to be concerning, we'll let you know. What about storm surge? It's way too early to tell storm surge due to the fact of uncertainty in the track and intensity. Obviously, the stronger the storm, the more bigger the surges you have. Same thing with the size of the storm. Sometimes the bigger the storm, the more bigger the surges could be as well. There's a lot of factors. Those are the main factors that we still need to work out right now. Between the models, since there's just so much disagreement. So we can't really say anything about surges right now. Let's see here. They're almost always consistent one after another. I mean, sometimes. We had a pretty slow start to the season. We had Beryl, and then it was pretty quiet for a little bit. So that's not always true. But in this case, I mean, yeah. In this case, yes, because we just had Helene, and there's another system. The tropics are actually becoming fairly active right now. We do have ourselves a couple areas we're watching. So not only are we watching this one here, but we also have two other systems back here. We have one with a high chance of overall development. This is likely going to be the next named storm, the one out here in the MDR, that main development region, west of Africa. We got another wave that's going to roll off of Africa here, which, could be another storm to monitor. Pretty low odds right now, low chance of formation. But yeah, this guy over here, this one, could be a decent storm at some point. The models are suggesting this storm to kind of follow what Joyce is doing potentially, and just kind of get sucked its way in towards the central Atlantic, which would keep it away from land. So that seems fine. The models seem okay with that. So this storm shouldn't be of any really big impacts, as it should just be like a fish storm remaining out to sea out there. Brandon says, is it coming to Florida? There's a possibility it could. And the reason is, like I mentioned, is because we do have ourselves a cold front that's going to be kind of steering that storm as it works its way to the northwest. It's going to steer it potentially to the northeast. That's kind of what a lot of the members and a lot of those main models suggest, is that, that frontal system here could kind of deflect that storm from the western Gulf. So, that could be good for folks out there towards like Texas, but that, could be a problem for my folks along, like the central and eastern Gulf Coast. That's why I want you guys to really monitor this over the next couple days. Once again, there's no need for full-on preparation right now because of the complete uncertainty and the fact that we're still multiple days down the line. So there is still plenty, if need be, we'll still have plenty of, days worth of preparing for this. This is long-range guidance right now. So yeah, that's just kind of how that, how that happens. What's the science of hurricanes usually always in the Gulf? That's not necessarily true. They happen quite frequently, both in the Gulf, in the Caribbean, and as well as the MDR. It's not more one or the other usually. I've noticed fairly equal spread. But yeah, it depends on local weather conditions and stuff like that. Not every setup is completely the same. Due to the fact of different environments around them and stuff like that. Oh, let's see here. Is this going to hit southeast Texas? I'd say it's unlikely, due to the fact that we will probably see that steer last moment. That seems like a pretty common take. With the models right now, is that the storm could potentially steer its way. So you can kind of see those members there. You see how we track our way throughout the Caribbean. You see that grouping of members. That's between the first and the third. And then you can see it tracks its way into the central Gulf here, right around the fourth, maybe the fifth. And then you can see how some of those members have it working its way up here towards like the north central and like the eastern Gulf Coast. And those are really the main areas that I want you guys to watch this. It wouldn't hurt if you watched it across Texas, but the way that things have been talking, it seems like these areas could be the most probable for impact here. And that doesn't unfortunately include the possibility of Florida being impacted again. Once again, it's still not certain, but it does seem like a good possibility, as of the guidance that we've been seeing for the last little bit. And everything like that. So, but remember, there still is a lot of things we do not know. We do not know how strong it's going to be, how big the storm's going to be, where it's going to ultimately go. That is still the big question, in which, at the point being, there's no need to full-on prepare for this because we're still in the long range right now. We're still far down in time from the system actually happening. So there is still plenty of days. We gotta, the closer we get to the system, the models will start to agree more on it. And once those models start to agree more on the system, and if it looks concerning for a specific region, then we'll tell you guys to start preparing. So all I need you guys to do now is just watch it. Just keep an eye on the tropics for the next couple days. Continue with your normal daily lives as you have been. And if it becomes an issue, then we will talk more about it. Okay? Hopefully you guys understand that. Let's see. Thank you for doing this, giving us facts. You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome, my friend. Do I storm chase? Not particularly, not really too often. I mean, I usually storm spot whenever they come over me, but, you know, I really don't go out of my way to do that. I usually cover the storms, you know, doing live coverage and stuff like that. I usually just do that, but not usually, no. The big question is, will it hit Florida? So it's possible. It is a possibility that it could impact Florida, yes, but nothing's guaranteed right now, okay? So it's not guaranteed, but it cannot be ruled out at the moment. So, you know, Florida, yes, I would monitor it if you live in Florida. You know, just keep an eye on it, but nothing's final right now. So there's a chance that, you know, it could even go more to the north. You know, there's a chance it still could, you know, impact more like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, rather than as much as Florida. You know, that still is a theoretical, hypothetical scenario, I potentially could say. When will the storm come? So it seems like the models are suggesting the storm, so in the Caribbean, so that's southern and western Caribbean, as we're kind of between these markers here, this will be ranging from October 1st to October 3rd. So, you know, you can kind of see that, you know, that's just a couple days in the Caribbean there. And as we approach our way through this little channel between the northeastern tip of the Yucatan Peninsula and western Cuba, as we approach our way into the Gulf here, that will be ranging more from like the, you know, October 4th, 5th, and 6th. In which, you know, like I mentioned, you know, obviously you can imagine the 6th is still several days away from now. So that's still a good week away. So there's plenty of time for things to change, as we mentioned. Will it hit Ohio? Unlikely. Ohio is really far up inland, and yeah, you guys probably wouldn't be affected by this. Let's see. Don't think it'll be near as strong as Helene, maybe Cat 2 Max. Honestly, Railroad, we can't even say that, to be honest. I agree with you in the fact, though, that I don't think it will be as strong as Helene. Yeah, there's not a lot of guidance that shows it near that strength right now. I really do not think it'll be that strong, you know, due to more lack of moisture. There's not as much moisture and, you know, humid air in the atmosphere in this storm as there was for Helene. So yes, I do agree with you on that, and the fact that, you know, it will probably be a little bit, you know, smaller as well, maybe a little bit more of a smaller storm, maybe a bit more weaker as well due to some of those limitations. But, you know, regarding it being Cat 2 Max, there's not enough support in the models that really show that, because, you know, there's such a big spread still. You know, GFS here kind of shows the pressure getting down into the 990s, which that would probably be more towards like tropical storm force. You know, maybe mid tropical storm, according to GFS. There has been a couple runs from GFS, though, that supports this thing, you know, easily getting into hurricane strength, but, you know, determining on its exact strength right now is just simply unknown. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's see here. Can I see what the water temperatures are in the Gulf? Absolutely, my friend. I can do that for you. So they're still pretty warm out here. Let's do Western Atlantic view. So we still have a good, you know, 29, 30 degrees Celsius waters out there. It is a complete bathtub still going on out there. It's a complete old, really, really warm. So, and where it develops, like we mentioned, it's going to start down here towards like the southern and the western Caribbean, tracking its way through, then going its way up here towards, you know, the Gulf, and then, like I said, potentially steering due to that cold front and due to that potential interaction that it could do. But, you know, as you may or may not know, you must have tropical waters of at least 26 degrees Celsius for sustainability or strengthening with a tropical cyclone. And the fact that we have 30, 29, 30, in some places 31 Celsius waters out there, that is plenty enough. Now remember, it's not just strictly reliant on those sea surface temperatures. There's also a lot of other factors as well, such as wind shear. If you have really strong winds up in the atmosphere where a storm's trying to develop, that will basically collapse and capsize the storm, which would allow the storm to basically just kind of get ripped apart and, you know, kind of die out. So if you have a lot of strong winds in the atmosphere, that's a problem too. Also, moisture, a big thing. If you have a lot of moisture, then thunderstorms can convect. You can get some organization of a tropical system. Meanwhile, if you have dry air, well, there's not going to be much thunderstorm activity in the storm. Therefore, organization's going to take longer, or it's just not going to be able to do it at all. It just depends on moisture. But yeah, so remember, there's more than just that. But yeah, so based off of the sea surface temperatures and stuff like that, yeah, the waters are certainly warm enough. But once again, there's other factors included as well. So keep that in mind. Oh, let's see here. So happy it didn't hit Daytona. What? Helene? Yeah, Helene, I think it did cause some impacts along Daytona Beach. I want to say 1 to 3 foot of storm surge was forecasted out there. So we had a little bit of impacts. Oh, let's see here. I'm not ready for another storm. Yeah, I really don't think any of us are. But, the good news is from what we're seeing now, I don't think this thing will be nearly as strong as Helene was. Just based off of what we got going on, but it's still a little early to tell. The strength, the size, and the track of the storm here. That's still early to tell. How often do I go live? Daily. I usually go live a good maybe 2, sometimes 3 times a day. We'll be going live again later this evening too for those evening updates. Yeah, we were live yesterday, I think 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. We covered Helene. We did multiple updates. So yeah, we're very active on this channel. Very active. Let's see. I'm in Pensacola. Will it hit me here? So Pensacola should monitor the storm. It's still unknown if this thing will go directly over Pensacola. Models are suggesting the possibility of it going, in the general direction of the Eastern Gulf. Therefore, yes, I would say that you need to monitor the storm. However, right now, full-on preparations are not needed at the moment. Nobody needs to go out of their way right now and prepare for this because of the fact that there's so much uncertainty. We're still a good week or so out here at this point. And whenever it comes to it, like I mentioned, there is, a lot of unknowns. The models are all over the place. Some of them showing it being, a hurricane, some of it showing it being a depression or a tropical storm, for one. And then, on the other side of things, some of it show it in complete different areas. Although the models are tending to keep the system along the central and eastern Gulf. And like I mentioned, the reason of that is because of a potential cold front, a building of high pressure that's going to be building in along the western side of the Gulf, which could act as a shield protecting areas along like Texas's coast from the system. That could be good for them. I would still monitor it if you live along Texas's coast too. It would never hurt just to watch, in which, that's what everybody needs to do. Right now, no need for full-on preparations. Now we just need to monitor this. We just need to watch this, keep an eye out there for it for the next couple of days. And if it becomes a problem for an area, we will certainly let you guys know as soon as that available information comes out, okay? Let's see here. Great insight. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome, my friend. I'm glad to be here. Glad to help you guys out. Once again, there's no reason to freak out or anything like that over this storm. I understand how it can be a little nerve-wracking. I get it. Trust me, I'm here in Florida too. I understand how it can be, and especially having just Helene, a couple days ago. Yeah, it's a little unfortunate, but remember, it's still a little early in the talk. Try not to let it get to you. Continue on with your daily lives as you normally would. The system, there's a lot of things we need to learn about it. So right now, just keep an eye on the channel. Continue watching our live streams, and I'll continue to give you all the latest information that we got overall. So, there's still a lot of things that we need to learn, okay? So keep that in mind. Try not to worry about it too much. Try to keep it, keep it cool, which... we'll just monitor it. If it becomes a problem, then we'll let you know, okay? Let's see here. Stephanie says, just subscribe, first time seeing this channel on my feed. Well, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Let's see, Roto, how do you say your name? Roto? I'm going to call you Roto, if you don't mind. Is Texas in the clear? So, Texas has probably the best probability out of anybody in the Gulf right now, of being... not as affected. It seems like the majority of these models and ensembles show the storm going to the central Gulf and then turning to the eastern Gulf. Now remember, this is not final yet, but it seems like that's been the latest trend here with the models. And like I mentioned, because we're going to have some building high pressure behind here, as that storm kind of pulls through, which, that could act, like I said, as a shield, like a kind of a battering ram, keeping the storm away from Texas's coast. That is a good possibility. And since there is a good amount of support of the models showing that happening, it's a possibility. And I wouldn't say you're fully in the clear, but you look better than, say, the East Coast does, the Eastern Gulf does. But, you know, whenever it comes to it, that is that. You know, Evan, it is actually really good to be a nerd sometimes, especially whenever what you do could be life-saving. So, actually, I'd take that as a compliment. Thank you. I have to admit, I am a bit of a weather nerd. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Stephanie says, thank you for informing us daily about the storms. You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome, my friend. Let's see here. Evan Sell's making a joke. I know, man. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions on the storm here, you know, feel free to let me know. You know, once again, try not to worry about the storm here. There's a lot of things that we just really don't know about the storm quite yet, I should say. There's a lot of things that, you know, we just need to continue to watch here. You know, overall, there's, you know, once again, there's a lot of things that we need to just monitor over the next couple of days. You know, this is still a good whiles away out. You know, and models, like I mentioned, are still all over the place, you know, regarding how strong it'll be, where it will go, how big the storm is. So, you know, it's still a little unknown here. Let's see here. Rosemary says, I've listened to you for 30 seconds and I think you're doing great. Thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. I really, really do. Let's see. Where is the next storm, says Jeffrey? So, the way that the models are suggesting right now, it looks like the storm is going to start to develop along the southern Caribbean. This is going to start to develop between the 1st and the 3rd of October. So around the 1st, we'll be there towards like the southern Caribbean. Around the 2nd, we'll be kind of towards like the west central Caribbean. Around the 3rd, we'll kind of be towards that little inlet point between the northeastern side of the Yucatan Peninsula and the western side of Cuba. Right around the 3rd. And then we progress our way into the 4th, you know, out there kind of towards like the southern Gulf, possibly out there towards like the 5th around the central Gulf, and then wherever it goes, maybe around the 6th or so could be a potential impact date, which once again, still, that's not even final yet either. You know, timing is still not fully known, but you know, the 1st, it should be down here. The 2nd, it should be right around here. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So that's kind of the timing based off of the models and kind of what they're talking about here. So remember, you know, that's not perfect, but that is a possibility. That's kind of what the models are agreeing with the timing right now. Let's see here. So Central/Alabama/Mississippi line is in the hot zone. I would monitor it if you do live across those regions, absolutely. If you live across Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida's coast, these are the areas I would really want you guys to monitor. You know, it would not hurt if you know, keep an eye on it throughout Texas, but I feel like the way that the models are trending, you know, with that cold front and stuff like that, you know, as the storm, you know, kind of works its way up, I feel like that should keep it along the central and eastern Gulf rather than the western Gulf. That's based off of model outputs right now. And, you know, since we're still a week away, there is still absolutely time for things to change. So, you know, it wouldn't hurt for Texas to continue monitoring it, but I feel like the impacts will, they could be more towards the, you know, the northern, or I should really say the central Gulf states and the eastern Gulf states. I think you guys probably have the best probability out of all. Pensacola. So yeah, Chloe, I would monitor it if you live in Pensacola. But you know, there's no reason for worries or anything like that right now. Like I said, just try to continue on with your daily lives. You know, there's a lot of things that we don't know about the storm. Once again, where it's going to go fully, we don't really know that quite yet. How strong it's going to be, how big it's going to be, and stuff like that. So there's still a lot of things that we don't know. Stefan says, staying busy, bro. Yeah, I've been very, very busy the last several days here. How about Georgia? So, you know, if need be, Georgia, you know, it wouldn't hurt to watch it. But, you know, so if you live in Georgia, you know, it wouldn't hurt to keep an eye on the tropics. But honestly, as of now, there's no big problematic concerns for Georgia. So, you know, nothing really to worry about out there. But, you know, once again, you should just monitor it and keep an eye on the weather. And if, you know, if it becomes some type of problem, we'll let you know as soon as the data becomes available. Okay? Let's see. Red Panda says, I'm a tornado nerd. Nice. Let's see. Can't catch a break, can we? Unfortunately not, Chloe. Yeah, we just had Helene, unfortunately. The last thing we need is another storm here. So it's like, oh my goodness. But, you know, there still is chances that the storm won't, you know, impact Florida as heavily overall. So, Yeah, so that's good. So try not to worry about it. Try not to worry about it. ATL says thank you. You're very welcome, my friend. No problem. Sports says what category. So that is unknown at the moment. So the strength is not really known. Some models suggest it being a depression or a tropical storm, while there's a couple models that indicate it may be becoming a low end hurricane. So there is still a lot of spread in the strength of the storm due to the fact that we're still a good week or so away out. And as we get closer to these days here, as we start to get closer, and actually once we see that storm develop, once that storm actually starts to develop down there, we can monitor its progression and see how well it's developing, if it's on track, if it's ahead of schedule. That could all determine on the strength, the size, and overall the track and stuff like that as well. So once the storm hasn't even really started yet, that's the thing, is that we're expecting that storm to kind of pop up here right around October 1st or 2nd, in which that's still a day or two away. So whenever that storm starts to roll down here, we'll be able to monitor its actual we'll be able to watch what it's actually doing and stuff like that, and watch its behavior and see how it's handling everything. If I lived in the Big Bend area, I'd definitely be moving after this year too much. It really seems like the Big Bend's been being targeted a lot lately. I mean, shoot, we had Idalia, I believe, hit the Big Bend of Florida. We covered that storm, a year or so ago. We had ourselves, let's see, Debbie, which I was here during Debbie as well. Debbie impacted, the Big Bend there as a Category 1. And, of course, recently Helene, that just impacted the Big Bend. Yeah, it really seems like the Big Bend is being targeted for the last, couple big storms. Now, obviously, we had Ian, which Ian kind of hit out there towards, like, Sarasota. That obviously, was on the west central side of Florida, kind of almost southwestern side. But it does seem like a lot of hurricanes have been kind of going up there towards the Big Bend. Absolutely. Let's see. Perry got hit bad last year, too. Gotcha. Was that from, I think that was Idalia, right? Yeah, Perry got hit really hard from Helene. We're still talking a good 90% of the people without power out there. That's your power outage track here. You can see from Helene. I mean, this is still up to date here. You can see that a lot of the Big Bend is just without power. Same thing for a lot of like central southeastern Georgia, central western South Carolina, western North Carolina, southwestern Virginia, southern West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, and bits of southern Ohio are without power. But you can see a lot of the main impacts out of the storm was between the Carolinas, Florida, and Georgia. That's where a lot of the heaviest of the impacts were felt, in which you can obviously still see. Made a nice little hot dog there. You can obviously still see where the impacts are still being today. And it's going to take a very long time for these folks out there. It's going to take a very long time for these folks to recover from that. From catastrophic flooding in the Carolinas to really nasty wind and surges in the Florida area, and Georgia too. Well, more with the winds in Georgia, but let's see. It's got another chance to hit Florida soon, says Bass. So we are monitoring, yes, another system that could impact Florida theoretically. It does seem like that some of the models are suggesting that Florida could be in an area of watch throughout the next couple of days. So if you live across Florida, monitor the storm. Keep an eye out there for it. As of now, no need for full-on preparations. Due to the fact of still a lot of uncertainty on its size, strength, and track, and also the fact that we're still about a week out, which that makes it a little bit harder to look that far out in time. Now, the reason that you might be wondering, well, why are we even talking about it if it's unknown? The reason that we're talking about it is because of the fact that the models have been talking about this system for literal days. And not only have they been talking about this storm for days, but it's also been the main set of models. All of the models are on board with this system potentially forming here. So that's why we're talking about it, just to get the early word out there, obviously giving you an early standpoint at things. And also, like I mentioned, the Hurricane Center has been increasing their probability with the storm developing Yesterday we were at a 40% chance. Now we're up to 50. That I believe will continue to increase as models continue to support this system over and over. Once that storm develops, like I mentioned here, right around the 1st and 2nd, out there towards like the western Southern Caribbean there, we can monitor its behavior, see how the storm is reacting to the environment, and then as it continues working its way closer to like the western Caribbean and out there potentially towards the Gulf, once it gets there, then we'll have to see. But obviously, if you live along the Gulf Coast, yeah, I mean, monitor the storm, keep an eye out there for it. But there's no need for full-on preparations. There's no need to go out and buy everything. That's not needed right now. That is certainly not needed. So continue on with your daily life you normally would, but just keep in the back of your head, hey, there. Again, I'll continue giving. Okay, are we back? Apparently we lost signal there for a minute. Anyways, but yeah, so if it needs to be watched, like I said, we'll continue monitoring it. I was wondering, what radar do I use? I use GR2 Analyst. It'll run you about $250, but it's a good program. It's very powerful. Let's see here. I'm in one areas in South Georgia without power, and it's hot. Just got cell service back late yesterday. Trees, power lines, and poles are down everywhere. Yeah, it was pretty bad out there. Well, I'm glad that you got your service back. Overall, hopefully you'll get your power back here soon. And yes, it is certainly hot. I'm feeling it down here in Florida. It's I think it was like 93 today. Where I'm at, my Mesonet reported 93 out there. It's like, dude, it's a little warm. It's just a little bit warm. But anyways, like I mentioned, y'all, we're going to continue monitoring this. There's no reason to freak out over it. There's no reason to be fully nerve-wracked about it. While you should monitor it, while you should keep an eye out there for it, once again, it's just a little too early to full-on prepare and stuff like that, because the fact that we don't know where it's going to go completely. So my cousin's house in Valdosta got completely destroyed. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Hopefully he's doing okay. Did he evacuate? Hopefully he did, because yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, like I mentioned before, y'all, property can be replaced, right? Even you can replace houses, you can, and all that stuff. But like I mentioned, lives unfortunately cannot. That's the unfortunate thing about like Helene and stuff like that. But I'm glad, like I said, hopefully he's okay. From what it sounds like, I think he's okay. I'm not sure. I'd be shocked if he didn't give the condition of his house. Yeah, that's something else, man. Well, my prayers will be with him, man. He's fine. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Definitely glad to hear that. Let's see here. But anyways, so yeah, like I said, we're just going to continue monitoring the storm here. We're going to hop on back here to some of the models here. Ivan, you are hilarious, dude. Let's see. We're going to hop to GFS here. Yeah, we're going to go to the Zero Zulu run from last night. So the O Zulu, you can see the storm started developing out there right around October 1st, going into October 2nd, towards the inlet here of October 3rd. And then, of course, pulling its way into, the Gulf here, right around the 4th, 5th, and 6th. Remember that timing is not fully known quite yet, but that's kind of what the GFS was suggesting here. Then we had the 06 Zulu from this morning, a very weird run per se. This model had it kind of maybe just an ordinary tropical low, really not a whole lot. But then the 12 Zulu came out and basically said that, yeah, it could pick up again. So as you can tell, the model is all over the place, and all the models are literally all over. So, it's a little early to tell. Let's see. So you're telling me I'm going to get hit by another hurricane. It's not for sure known right now, my friend. Florida could be impacted by this storm. Yes, it's a possibility. But regarding what we are going to be seeing, regarding its strength, its size, and its track, that is unknown right now. But we have been continuously seeing support of another tropical system, starting in the Caribbean and working its way to the Gulf for the first week, or sorry, I should say for next week. But yeah, for the first week of October overall. South Carolina cannot take another hurricane. Yeah, well, as of now, everything in South Carolina looks fine overall. So, there's no reason for any of us to be worried about the storm right now. But, just keep an eye on it, okay? I live in Destin. Is it going to be affected? So, maybe, like, it's potentially possible. But there is some models that support it going near you, yes. And there's also models that don't. So, it is absolutely, too early to make any assumptions right now. But, Florida potentially could be impacted. So, we'll continue monitoring that. After experiencing the eye wall of Sally, I don't want to do that again. I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. Yeah, those storms hit you like a brick wall, don't they? I mean, they hit pretty hard. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. Is it going to be impacted? As of now, I don't see any concerns for Atlanta at the moment. Like I mentioned, for my folks along the Gulf Coast, you guys are the ones that, should monitor the storm over the next couple of days. So, if you live along the Gulf Coast, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida's Gulf Coast, monitor it, keep an eye out there for the storm for the next couple days. But like I said, simply at the point right now is it's too early to tell how strong it's going to be, too early to tell its track, how big it's going to be. There is a lot of, like I mentioned, there's a lot of uncertainty with this overall. Just got back from Mississippi because of Helene. Gotcha. Well, hopefully you're doing all right, my friend Dev. Let's see. Anything doing for New Jersey, or this track the other way? So, once again, track's still a little bit unknown. There's a lot of scatter here. Let's actually bring up the ECNS ensembles here. Let's go ahead and bring this up for you all. Yeah, let's go ahead and pop this up. So these are some more of those models here. Let's actually kind of highlight the. We're actually gonna highlight the Caribbean here. Oh shoot, and the Gulf here. So let's go ahead and zoom into that. We're gonna zoom into these regions here, and then we're gonna look at the loop here. So this is the ECENS ensemble. So you're gonna see what kind of looks like spaghetti plots, which it's one model with a bunch of runs here. So yeah, I mean, you see that, you see how they kind of behave themselves. So, or what their behavior is, I should say. You see how the models or the ensembles here work their way here to the northwest, and then they kind of slow down and then start to shift east. You guys see that? And like I mentioned, that is because of that cold front that is going to be rolling through, which is probably going to shift the storm here to the east here. So that's kind of what the models are really agreeing on at this point in time. It does seem like that is going to be a possibility, which unfortunately that could mean that Florida could be impacted. If you live in Florida, once again, monitor the storm. It's certainly something you should watch overall, but there's no reason to worry about the storm right now. There still is several days to prepare if need be. But since everything's still all over the place right now, it's just a little bit unknown. The good news is that the GFS has been downtrending on the intensity. Yeah, but that could be a temporary thing, Ben. I've seen it go both ways. I've seen it intensify stronger, and then pull back and then go back to being stronger again. So due to the fact that we are still several days away, that could just be a temporary fluctuation. How bad is Georgia going to get hit? It's unknown the effects of Georgia, if hardly any at all. So Georgia right now, you're not under any big concern. But it would not hurt if you did monitor the tropics. If you did continue to watch the tropics overall throughout the next several days. And once we start to learn more information on the storm, then we'll tell you guys what areas need to prepare if need be, basically. Ivan says, why do all hurricanes form in the Bermuda Triangle? Yeah, man, that's not right. They form in the Caribbean, they form in the Gulf, they form in the MDR. They don't just form in the Bermuda Triangle. Let's see here. People don't prepare now, they are screwed up. Not really. No, not really. Because, like I mentioned, the storm here is a good week out. We tend to learn more about the storm, whenever we get to usually around day 4 on average. About 4 days out, we have a somewhat of an understanding of what the storm could do. We're still a week out here. in which, 3 days or so, that's plenty of time to prepare. And since we're still like 7 days away here, that's not true. That's not true. Let's see. Is it going to Florida again? Is it confirmed that it'll form? So it has a really good shot of forming, Joseph. It's been continuously supportive on the models for the last several days. So it's been very, very supportive. Absolutely. The models, all the main ones, GFS, Euro, Icon, CMC, all the main ones have been talking about this system here. And it seems like, majority of model support, could push this thing to the Eastern Gulf. Which could, impact Florida, unfortunately. But, what impacts to expect is not known right now. I'm a Floridian. Everyone should have supplies ready to go at all times. Yeah, that's a very fair assumption. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just have backup food, backup water if necessary. That I wouldn't go against. Absolutely. I got directly impacted by Hurricane Michael. I don't want that again. Well, obviously, I hope that this thing won't be nearly as bad as that. Like, the good news is that models, I honestly believe that this storm is going to be a lot weaker than Helene was. So that could be good. There's only limited support of this thing being a low-end hurricane. Some of the models suggesting even depression or tropical storm status. So, once again, we just simply don't know the track, the strength, the size right now. That's too early to tell. But what we do know is the fact that the storm is going to likely develop here. The models have been on board for several days. It looks like the storm is going to start to develop around the 1st and 2nd overall out there towards, the Western Caribbean, and then tracking into the Gulf maybe right around the 4th or 5th. Depending on where it ends up, though, once again, it's not really fully known. This hurricane season has been weird. Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of dust in the beginning season. Since then, things have started to subside a bit, and we're starting to get more activity overall. But absolutely. But it has been an interesting year, I will say that. Let's see here. What's up, Sterling? Hope you're doing good, man. Hope you are doing well. But anyways, like I said, if you guys have any questions, throughout this, we're here for you. I want to help you guys stay weather aware and prepared. I understand that these can be a little nerve-wracking, especially, just dealing with Helene and everything like that. But, just right now, just continue to monitor the tropics. Once again, we'll continue giving you guys plenty of updates here. We're even going to do another update this evening. I'm probably going to go live around 10 o'clock or so, either 9 or 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So we'll go live again with the new models and stuff like that once they come out and everything. So, like I said, try not to worry about it. We are still a good week out. So there is still a lot of time for things to change, regarding its strength, its track, its size. A lot of things can still change here. It seems like the current agreement here is that, oh, look at that. The Hurricane Center just updated the area here. I don't know if they updated probability. I don't know if that updated yet or not, but they actually moved it a bit more to the east there. But yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, there still is a lot of time for changes and stuff like that. Right now, the models suggest a storm going through the Caribbean and then kind of going into the Gulf, potentially turning a bit to the northeast as the storm, as we have that cold front like I was talking about. That little frontal system with that, high pressure ridge building in from behind, that could help steer it away from the Western Gulf. And unfortunately, that could be, that could mean that the storm could be impacting the Eastern Gulf here. So, we'll definitely be watching this here. What app is that called? This is Radar Omega here. Hope the storm won't hit me. I'm in Maryland or so. Yeah, Maryland will probably be fine, man. Maryland will probably be fine. Y'all don't usually get impacted too much. I mean, I used to live up in Northern Virginia. It's once in a blue moon we get hit by one of these guys. So, it's fairly uncommon, and especially with what we know right now, there's no, it's very much unknown at the moment. So it's going to impact the U.S. By this weekend, says Corbin. So whatever it does, it'll be in the Gulf, like I mentioned, between the 4th, 5th, and 6th of October. It'll be in the Caribbean between the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So throughout the Gulf, it'll be here between the 4th, like I said, the 5th, and the 6th. Throughout the Eastern Gulf, the central Eastern Gulf here. Now, like I mentioned, down in the Caribbean, it'll be right around the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. In which, as you can imagine, I mean, we still have about a day and a half before that storm even kind of develops there in the Caribbean. So we got to monitor how well it behaves in the environment it's given and stuff like that. So. Let's see. Swan says, thank you for the info. Our local news source underestimated Helene. It's usually over exaggerated weather events. Not this time, though. I got you. Well, you're very, very welcome, my friend. And like I said, we'll continue giving you guys updates on this. Right now, as mentioned, no reason for panic, no reason to worry about the storm. But, over the next couple days, just keep an eye on the tropics. Like I said, subscribe if you haven't already. That way, whenever I do go live, you guys can hop on and kind of see what everything's looking like. And of course, like I mentioned, if this storm becomes a problem to a specific area and if it needs preparation, then I will certainly let you know once that data becomes available. As of right now, like we mentioned beforehand, it's still a little bit early with the track, with the strength, with the the size and stuff like that. There still is so much unknown about the storm here. So like I mentioned, we'll just keep on watching it, and tonight we'll go live again for you guys to give y'all another update as the new model runs. The 18 Zulu will be coming out at that point, and everything like that. So the Hurricane Center actually just updated the system here. They still kept it at a 50% chance formation. They haven't changed the probability on this latest update, so we're still hovering around the same where we just were. Like we mentioned before, though, too, we do have another 2 systems watching. We have one that's west of the Cabo Verde. This one actually upgraded. This one's at a high 90% chance of formation. So this one over here is going to be the storm to take the next name here. So throughout the next 7 days, we have a 90% chance of development. And actually, the next 48 hours, this thing is an 80% chance. So this storm's getting ready to develop, too. And of course, we have another little area here. They actually upped the probability from 20 to 30%. There's another tropical wave that's coming off, that could develop long down the time here. But, throughout the next 2 days, that one's not expected. So this guy's getting ready to form. Like I said, this one will be probably the second named storm to develop, and maybe the third. We'll have to see. So this guy's going to take the next name. This storm might be Leslie, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure this guy here might be Leslie, if all is on track here. They'll probably have a high chance by tomorrow. We'll see, Corbin. I mean, the way that models have been suggesting this, it's been continuous support for days at this point. It's just been continuous support. So it wouldn't surprise me if we did get an upgrade to at least 60% by tomorrow. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But like I said, everybody, if y'all have any questions, feel free to let me know. We're here for you. We want to make sure you guys are weather aware, staying prepared, and everything like that. Once again, at the moment, there's no need for full-on preparations due to the amount of uncertainty, due to the amount that we, don't know right now overall. Where is the equator line? It's quite an interesting question. But the equator is down here. Well, you can barely see that, actually. The equator is down here. Yeah, by the way, between 5 degrees north and 5 degrees south latitude, there is not any tropical system that can really develop. I believe, actually, I'm pretty sure it might be 10 degrees north latitude. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 10 degrees north latitude, or lower. Let's see. Will it come to Texas? So it's unknown right now, my friend. It seems more than likely the storm will remain around the central and eastern Gulf. The majority of the models support that. I think personally it'll stay away from Texas, but there's no way to be for sure as of now. Yeah, hurricanes never pass the equator. That's correct. It's not going to hit the Big Bend again, is it? Austin, it's not. It cannot be ruled out, unfortunately. It cannot be ruled out if it will impact the Big Bend or if it will go over Florida again. Unfortunately, I cannot rule that out at the moment. Some of the models do support that as a possibility. But, once again, regarding how strong it is, regarding, the track and everything like that, it's unknown at the moment. Let's see here. Awesome, thank you. You're very welcome, man. No problem. JC says where. So the storm's going to start The storm's going to start here in the Caribbean, so towards like the southern Caribbean, just to the north of South America here. It's going to develop here right around the 1st, work its way into the 2nd around the western Caribbean. Around the 3rd, it'll be out there towards, the eastern Yucatan, and near, western Cuba. It'll be out there towards, the region there. And then, of course, we work our way up here into the Gulf between the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, roughly. But, timing still is a little iffy right now, but we'll keep an eye on it. All right, see you later, Anna. Thanks for joining. I see a lot of models going to Tampa. That's still fairly unknown. I mean, if we look at the ensembles again here, do I still have them up? I guess I don't. I might have got rid of that. But the guidance is all over the place. But there is a couple that, supports that possibility. But it is just way too early to tell. Thanks, I just hate it for all people who can't afford to leave home. Yeah, I hear you, man. I absolutely get it. It is, it's not good. James says, what about Orlando? So, Florida in general, just monitor the storm. Once again, no need for full-on preparations or anything like that right now. There's just still a lot of differences in the models. I mean, shoot. Here's the latest GFS. You can see the storm developing maybe into a tropical system, going up there towards like the panhandle of Florida, and then kind of turning west. The previous run before that, the 06 Zulu, barely showed that storm even being a low at that point. And going over like kind of central Florida. Then the 0 Zulu from last night has it going right there towards the panhandle. So you can see that there's just so much, that there's just so much uncertainty between the models right now. So it's just a little bit hard. Let's see. Chris says, so no possibility for Florida landfall. No, there is a potential that this thing could impact Florida directly, but it's completely unknown as of right now if it will 100%. It seems like some of the models do have it steering to the east, towards the eastern Gulf. It seems possible, but as of now, it's still unknown. And there still is a chance that it could not hit Florida. That is still a possibility. Let's see. My cousin lives in North Carolina near Raleigh. Lives in West North Carolina. They've been without power for days. Oh yeah, Mary, it's been bad. Helene was quite catastrophic for flooding out there in the Western Carolinas. Absolutely. Where is the storm? It's going to develop here right around the 1st and 2nd of October. That's when the storm's expected to develop. And it'll develop somewhere, kind of around the southern Caribbean here. That's where the storm's going to start, I should say, developing. It probably, once again, due to so much uncertainty, we don't really know where it's going to, develop into a tropical cyclone. We don't really know where yet. Could be the Caribbean, could be the Gulf. How intense do I think the storm will going to be? So models are all over the place, but I definitely think that the storm will be a lot weaker than Helene was. I do have a good feeling that the storm will be a lot weaker than Helene, thankfully. Seems like I mentioned, there's not as much moisture in the atmosphere available to the system as there was for Helene. That might also allow the storm to be smaller than Helene was, which would be good. The smaller the storm, the better, of course. And everything like that, and there could be some dry air involved in its late cycle or some wind shear. There's a lot of things that's just unknown at the moment. There's a lot of factors, a lot of moving parts, like I always say, involved with all this. I heard the Gulf of Mexico isn't as hot as it was. I mean, we looked at that a minute ago. It's actually very hot still. I mean, this is as of the 29th. I mean, this is the latest information. I mean, we're still 29, 30, 31 Celsius in some spots out there. No, it is absolutely still warm out there. I mean, it is just, you got to have at least 26 degrees Celsius or warmer waters. We're still 29, 30 out there between the Caribbean and the Gulf. So it is absolutely still warm enough. Let's see. I heard the system behind Joyce could be major. It could be a decent storm bin, but it looks like that storm will probably be a fish storm, remaining outside. Do I think it'll be less than a Category 3? There's really no support of any model showing it getting up that strong. As of now, like I mentioned, due to the fact of so much uncertainty, we don't really know the strength of it. But there is not really any model that supports it going above that or at that, honestly. The way that models are talking, it could be a tropical storm or a low-end hurricane from what things are looking like right now. But like I mentioned, it's gonna change. We're gonna have tons of changes by the time we get to the final moments. There's going to be so many changes because we're still a good week out, guys. And within a week, there is going to be, a lot of changes in the forecast. Changes can be made until the day of, even the day of, in the forecast. So, a good week, there's still a lot of time for things to change. There's an area in the Atlantic that has a 70% chance to develop. They actually upped the probability now to a 90% chance overall. It's 80 in the next 2 days. Yeah, we just had the 2 o'clock update here. What's up, dog? Hope you're doing good, man. Welcome. But anyways, everybody, well, we're probably going to head off here soon. We've been live here for an hour and a half. Just want to give you all a little update. We're going to go live again later this evening, though. So if you guys haven't already, consider leaving a like, subscribing. It'll be greatly appreciated. That way you guys can stay weather aware. Once again, we do about 2 live streams a day. We'll keep y'all posted. If you guys could share this with your friends, your family, anybody you really can, put it on your Facebook, your Twitter, just to help spread the word out there. It'd be much appreciated, my friends. And once again, I thank y'all for being here, and we'll keep y'all posted. Once again, try not to worry about the storm. There still is a lot of things we don't know about the system here. It's just simply too early to tell, really. I mean, it's just too early in the track and everything like that. Regarding its size, its strength, and everything. It's just way too early to tell. But the models have been talking about this system for literal days at this point here, so there is still a lot of guidance, a lot of support of this system, but what it's going to do is still not too sure. But we'll keep you guys updated. So once again, consider subscribing, leave a like, guys. We're almost at 100 likes. If you all could hit that like button, it'd be greatly appreciated. Double tap your screen. And everything like that would be much appreciated. But alrighty, everybody, well, you guys take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Like I said, we'll catch you later this evening, probably around 9 or 10 o'clock Eastern time. So I hope to see you guys then for another update. Well, you guys take care. Once again, try not to worry about it. No need for full-on preparations right now. Just monitor it. If you live across the Gulf Coast, just keep an eye on it for the next couple days. Continue with your daily lives. And like I mentioned, if it becomes an issue, we'll let you guys know where and what to do. Okay? But as of now, just take it easy and just continue on what you're doing. But alrighty, everybody. Well, you guys take care. Thanks for joining. Much love to you. Once again, leave a like, hit that subscribe button if you could. That way you guys can stay weather aware. Be much appreciated. And alrighty, everybody. Well, you guys take care, and we'll see ya in the next one. See you later, guys. Y'all take care. See ya later on.